Okay, hello. I'm just gonna get this started now. Um, the whole goal of this video is to basically listen to some weird videos and play the ps2. It's literally the title. But first off, loud cars. First off, we're gonna start off with the SpongeBob video. Now, the title of it is "The End Credits That Traumatize a Generation," and it's by your everyday theorist. Um, So go check them out. At the end of the stream, I'm gonna post the videos we watched in the comments. So hopefully you guys could see them. Fix my hair. Okay. Last thing I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna start playing it, and I might change the game too, but a little bit later. Fit the theme. Also, if you guys have any videos to recommend, you should paste them down below, like in the comments. So. Gotta plug in my controller. Oh, why is this so wait, why is it off now? Okay. I'm confused. I never really thought this song was, scary. Personally, it's just kind of like the end credit theme. I don't know. When you make it like that, I guess it's gonna be scary, but... Supposed to start a new game.
The other night, I was in bed, and because I can't scroll on my phone without playing something in the background, I put on one of my favorite comfort shows, Season 1 of SpongeBob. And after what felt like only a few minutes, I heard a familiar sound that gave me a mini heart attack. The end credits to SpongeBob.
A mini heart attack is crazy.
I was thrown back to when I was a kid, and I'd pop in that beautiful orange VHS tape.
Yes!
Left with an
I used to
ominous,
love
empty
those.
feeling anytime it would end. The feeling was so overwhelming that I'd often find myself physically getting up to run and turn it off, much like turning off the lights so the monster in the dark doesn't get you. Shortly after the next episode came on, I started scrolling on TikTok, as I was planning on doing anyways, and like TikTok always does, it somehow read my mind, and it showed me a video that was about this exact experience.
What experience, though? Just being scared of it? Oh, answer my question.
Some guy was describing the empty feeling that he would get from the SpongeBob outro, and judging from the comments, I knew I was not alone on this feeling. Apparently, it's a well-known thing for a lot of people to be deeply disturbed by the end credit sequence to SpongeBob.
Really?
And today I wanted to touch on a few explanations and theories as to why that is, and how this end credit sequence has seemingly traumatized an entire generation. Because
See,
I
I
know
just
that a
don't
lot of us
understand.
have that same memory of falling asleep on a couch, only to wake up to some weird cartoon, ad roll, or bumper being played that has now been deeply ingrained in all of our heads. For some, it was those creepy bumpers that Adult Swim is infamous for. For others, it's the obscure Nick shows that came on at night. And for me, it was the SpongeBob outro, as embarrassing as it is to admit that.
I just think it's odd.
And wake up to the empty melody blasting on my TV. Suddenly, this numb feeling would overtake my body as if something was watching me. And I usually had to force my eyes closed to deal with the issue, because there were times where I just wasn't brave enough to open my eyes and turn the TV off. I'd just let the entire ending theme play out until the deafening silence would hit. And then I'd feel even more alone than I already was. Looking back on this whole experience,
okay, we're good.
I wish that there was
I just had to make sure it was good.
A good night's sleep for 7-year-old me, because I always found myself waking up to these obscure noises or scary outros, and it's something that I used to struggle with a lot to this day. I say used to because now that I have adult money, I can afford stuff like my favorite sleeping mask.
I'm going to pause this really quick. Oh, he's going into an ad segment anyway. I low-key understand what he's coming from. It's just I always thought the SpongeBob theme, not the SpongeBob theme, the outro, I always thought it was low-key kind of relaxing. Like, it's just kind of like Hawaiian music. I don't know. But at the same time, I understand because when I was a kid, um, we're playing on a PS2 emulator, which I own the game, and a PlayStation 2. Um, but I used to be terrified of the red screen of death and like the PS2 as a whole. I low-key still kind of am like traumatized over it. Um, and for those who don't know, the red screen of death is when you put in like a wrong disc, or you put in like a scratched PS2 game or PS1 game, and the PlayStation doesn't like register it, so it's like it comes up an error, and it's like a red screen and has like kind of creepy whatever. And those who know the PS2 intro, I'm actually forgetting what I'm supposed to do here. I actually feel like a goober. Sorry, but for those who know the PS2 intro, it's a little like it's just a bunch of blocks like these, but it's a little unsettling. Like for some, I guess. Um, Objects, numbered gold spatulas. I played this game so many times. I do not know how to do this right now. Probably because I'm talking. Right. Sorry, I'm trying to figure this out right now. Am I missing something? Well, doesn't matter. Anyways, what I was saying was, I cannot do this right now. Okay, that's fine. Anyways, but what I was saying was that like kind of traumatized me a little bit when I was a kid. So I understand it from that point of view, because it's not inherently a scary thing. It's just like it's odd, and I guess it's off-putting. So to some people it's not, but I guess to this guy it is. I don't know. I'm like low-key muted right now, but like I'm just saying like I kind of understand where he's coming from. It's just such a weird thing for someone, at least in my head, to be afraid of. I'm gonna skip past the ad segment and we're gonna continue. Oh no, I'm not, because we have an ad for Harbor Freight. There we go. But yeah, I don't know. I just think it's like interesting, like what can traumatize people, you know?
Incredibly easy, and this is something
still the ad.
So headphones. I think it's sleep.com.
Okay.
They have.
Right.
And without further ado, let's get back to talking about how this one end credit sequence affected an entire generation of kids. The first theory that I really, really like is the notion that our knee-jerk reaction to the end credits is actually a trauma response. Now, I don't claim to be a therapist, and I'm not giving real psychological advice here. I'm just theorizing with the tons of others online who have come to the same exact conclusion through random videos, forums, and Google searches. But the idea here is that the show was thought of as a safety net when we were kids. Like we got used to going to the show when our living situation got too rough, and the same way that our brain associated the cartoon with joy and happiness, it also associated the end credits with the end of that joy and happiness. Because we subconsciously knew that when this show would end, we'd have to go back to our normal life. For some, it may have been as bad as what's described in shorts like Opal, where you just have a truly chaotic living environment. So when that ending credit sequence would hit and that song would play, it just constantly left us with this empty, looming dreadfulness that filled the room whenever SpongeBob would come to an end. And this kind of made sense to me. It makes a lot of sense.
I understand that for certain like living situations, but like
show's meaningfulness in other videos.
I don't know. A lot of times when you watch it on Nick too, it doesn't have the end credits, you know?
My stance on this show. I definitely found myself going to the show a lot as a kid whenever I felt that the stress of my environment was just too much. And I could totally see how on some level my little 8-year-old brain forged an association between the end credits playing and my fun time.
Gotta grind a little bit.
But that's just one possible explanation for this. I did mention that we were going to be discussing a few theories that speculate on how exactly this end credit song manages to create such a strong
I'm sorry, I'm going to pause this again and I want to talk about this.
When trying to figure out how this song can possibly be.
I feel like that's like a little far-fetched like for a theory. I don't know. Cuz like again, if anyone ever watched that Nickelodeon, even like when I like was a bit older, I wasn't born like I was like born in like the middle of the 2000s, so I really don't have like a super duper fond memory, but I also used to watch like the VHS tapes when I was a kid. Yeah, fake Mr. Krabs. But I never I don't know why I think like I'm like overanalyzing it a little bit, but it's just so interesting to me that like I don't know, it's just an interesting theory. I'm muted, but it's fine. Let's just continue. I'm just, I don't know what I'm trying to say here. I had something to say and I completely like blanked out.
That it's the actual notes that are being played that causes something in people's brains.
See, this makes sense. This makes sense. What he's saying now.
Lens. I'm no music genius, and I don't claim to be, but a lot of people have expressed how most of the notes in the song are played in a minor key, and that the song bounces between the notes in such a way that don't really go well together, creating dissonance, which to our ears translates to that uneasy feeling that others have described.
Is there dissonance in the song though? That's what I'm wondering.
It's easy to interpret this song in such a manner. Even something as simple as just listening to the song through a different lens can elicit this response. Another song that I think can be used as a good analogy here is Tiny Tim's Tiptoe Through the Tulips. On the surface,
but this one's different.
Song is honestly quite a beautiful piece, but played in the right setting, and suddenly, it's the creepiest song on earth.
I think it's so freaky.
That's why for this video's intro, I decided to put the SpongeBob outro in the setting that I thought would easily get across how I felt as a kid. And it's at this point that I think we should touch on one detail. The setting, the environment, and the confirmation bias that has led many of us to associating the song with this unnerving experience. As I said earlier, most of us only remember hearing the outro in the dead of night.
That is low-key true, though.
Which for me was around 8 p.m., and you'd wake up at like 2 a.m. to the sound of the SpongeBob outro while you were most likely alone on the couch with no one around. Whether your family was in their rooms or not, it felt incredibly disturbing to be alone while this dissonant sound would emit from the TV. Like the intro, just imagine walking alone in your house and the TV turns on while blaring this sound. It's just extremely creepy and makes you feel like something is out there in the void watching you, as if something around you is off. And I don't think it's just the SpongeBob outro that brings forth this experience. I think tons of media has made me feel this way. I've gone over this exact feeling in my Disturbing Media series, specifically on the segment on unfinished game levels. I described this empty feeling I'd get when I'd play a game like Tony Hawk's Pro Skater and how it felt when the in-game music would just randomly stop playing. Riding around each level with nothing but the sound of your skateboard. And
that is so true. Wait, that's so true.
Feel empty.
It's weird. It's like makes me feel uncomfortable.
Would overtake me every single time this happened. And this rang true for many other games that I'd use action replay or cheat codes on, whether I glitched out of the map on Pokemon Diamond to catch some legendary, or if I wanted to play an unfinished level from Kingdom Hearts. They would all emit the exact same uneasy aura. And what's crazy to me is there are some people in the world who just truly do not understand this sentiment at all. There's those who hear the SpongeBob outro and get incredibly nostalgic to the point of wanting to put the show back on, and describing the happiness and joy that they can remember feeling from watching it as a kid. And I'm sure that some of those people are watching this exact video trying to understand those who get disturbed by something as silly as the SpongeBob outro. And for those select few that are watching this because of that, I think you're incredibly lucky. And I personally just think it's crazy because when I hear this outro, I often get thrown back to all of the chaos that made up my childhood. You know, obviously, it's not always bad. I do love the show, and it is kind of nice here and there to get reminded of SpongeBob, especially with how big it is in meme culture. Because I'm sure that many of you can relate to hearing a sound on TikTok that is taken directly from the show and immediately firing up Prime Video or YouTube to relive the first few seasons once again. It's only after that episode comes to an end that we all get thrown back and get to relive the end credit sequence that managed to traumatize an entire generation.
Okay, I can't figure that out. Oh, wait, yes I can. I'm stupid.
Now, if you made it here and you made it to the end of today's video, thank you for watching all the way through. A lot of people just kind of skip over the outro. I do have a lot of updates and stuff whenever I do these kinds of outros. And right now, I just wanted to say that I'm just excited.
Well, I guess I'll stop this video.
I think right now, I'm like super motivated to get this other video done that I've been.
This guy did have a good video. Like, I can't say like he didn't. I really was just like one of those people, like you said in the end, just don't really understand it. I just feel like that song in particular isn't like a great example of that unnerving feeling. But at the same time, I know exactly what he's talking about. Like I was mentioning earlier, like there's just like some pieces of media that make you feel so uncomfortable for really no reason. And you even know, like, it's not really supposed to make you feel that way, but yet somehow it does. I just realized it went all the way around again. Alright, well, let's start a new video. I think we're gonna go with like a Reddit video or something. Let me see. I'm gonna get the SpongeBob videos. I just found that like when I was looking through stuff and I was like kind of curious. I guess we'll go with. One of the comments is, "What the hell are you like this? It's not a crazy idea. I don't know. I don't think it's a crazy notion to be afraid of it, but whatever. Yeah, we'll do disturbing Reddit users. S'mores. This video is by Snook. I've seen a few of his videos. Like I was like clicking on them before. Yeah, this one would be pretty good.
Guys, welcome to a different type of video today. Instead of some disturbing Reddit stories like usual, we are getting into some disturbing Reddit users. This is a series I've wanted to do for a long time, so if you guys enjoyed this, comment down below and let me know if you'd like to see more, because I'm excited about this. Most of the time, Reddit feels like just another corner of the internet, until you stumble upon something you wish you hadn't. While weird posts are common, some are so disturbing that people have to step away just to process them. Today we're diving into the most disturbing Reddit users.
Did I get all of them by doing that? That's kind of crazy.
And please like and subscribe. The channel's goal is 500,000 subscribers.
Oh,
thank you.
I don't think I mentioned, but it's disturbing Reddit users. But he already said it.
The first story we have is of the user AFH43. His account was created on May 16th, 2015, but there was no activity until 2016 when he started asking questions about hoodies, sneakers, and music production. Pretty normal, if you ask me. However, this would soon change as a year later, in 2017, he made a disturbing post which then led him to descend into an extreme existential crisis in a state.
I forgot about this cutscene.
The theory
Bro's
of
beating his meat on the fish
has driven me to a state of pure anxiety and terror over the last week. Is it true? Has it been debunked? I can't do this anymore. Now, for those of you who do not know what quantum immortality is, it is basically the idea that you never truly die. Instead, your consciousness continues.
Oh wait, hang on. I was.
To dive deeper into this.
Wait. Let's go back.
Sneakers and
hoodies, sneakers, yeah.
Pretty normal, if you ask me. However, this would soon change as a year later, in 2017, he made a disturbing post which then led him to descend into an extreme existential crisis in a state of derealization. The theory of quantum immortality has driven me to a state of pure anxiety and terror over the last week. Is it true? Has it been debunked? I can't do this anymore. Now, for those of you who do not know what quantum immortality is, it is basically the idea that you never truly die. Instead, your consciousness continues in a parallel universe where you survive. To dive deeper into this, quantum immortality is a thought experiment derived from the many worlds interpretation of quantum mechanics.
I was just here.
That a conscious observer can never truly experience their own death. The idea is based on the notion that, in situations with a non-zero probability of survival, the observer will always find themselves in the branch of reality where they continue to exist. To debunk his theory, a user named John Hazler replied by saying, Quantum immortality just means that you will never wake up dead. Think about it. The only state you will ever observe yourself to be in is alive. That's only one of the problems with it. Another is that death is not an instantaneous quantum transition. It's a slow, messy process by which the collection of atoms that you are currently pleased to call me becomes so disorganized as to be unable to call themselves anything, and then began to stink. You will likely be there for much of the process and know what is happening. Don't worry, you are in no danger of being forced to live forever against your will. But by then, user AFH43 had already fallen down a deep rabbit hole with no way out. He went on to make multiple posts in subreddits like r/AskScience and r/AskPhilosophy, searching for some sort of answer. The possibility of quantum immortality is making my life unbearable. Is it a credible theory? It makes complete sense to me, and I can't believe I'm the only one losing my mind over it. I'm freaked out at the possibility of quantum immortality. Is it a credible theory? Scared of quantum immortality, please help me. Why don't you believe in it? The theory of quantum immortality has driven me to a really dark place. I'm living in a state of pure terror. Is there reason not to believe it is true? His paranoia kept on growing, and with each passing day, his anxiety worsened. He became obsessed with the idea that he might never die, trapped in a reality he could not escape.
Okay, but that's not what
this fear would soon push him
the
down
guy kind of has like debunked that before.
Path. Later that year, he made a post in r/advice. Existential crisis. It won't stop. I need help. I can't do it anymore. I fear that because I am something in this universe, I will always be alive. Quantum immortality. It makes so much sense to me, and it is ruining my life. What do I do about it? I need to rest. On that post, a user asked him, do you also suffer from depersonalization or derealization? To which he replied by just saying, yes. He had completely lost touch with reality, sinking into thoughts that the human mind isn't meant to comprehend. In another post on r/AskPhilosophy, he opened up a bit about his fears, but for him, this wasn't just a philosophical debate, it was a terrifying possibility, and it was driving him to the edge. That's when he reached his breaking point and made his final post. Quantum immortality. I am killing myself soon.
What?
It's too much. I can't do it anymore.
That's so sad.
Then his account went silent. Most assumed he had gone through with his plan, but in 2019, he suddenly reappeared with an explanation. This time, he posted an r/relationship advice, and what he wrote was shocking. While recovering from my psychotic breakdown / suicide attempt, I, 22M, met the only girl, who was 22F, I have ever fallen in love with. Due to my state, it didn't work out. I'm considering asking her out again. I am AFH43, a regular feature on those dark / creepy Reddit history threads. I am still alive. It's been a long time since I've logged into this account. I thought it had been long forgotten by everyone. However, after logging a few days ago, I saw that my inbox was full of hundreds of messages from people asking how I am or whether I am even alive. I also saw that my username had been mentioned in a lot of dark / creepy Reddit history Ask Reddit posts. These were extremely hard for me to read because I try not to think about that time in my life. Nearly 3 years ago, I woke up one morning and my mind simply broke. I believed that because of quantum immortality, I would never be able to die, and therefore would experience all of the greatest sufferings possible over and over again for all eternity. I felt there was no escape. It was like a panic attack of the highest intensity that did not end for weeks. For the first time, I understood what Emil Corian meant when he said, "We dread the future only when we are not sure we can ourselves when we want to." Surviving a suicide attempt only worsened my delusions. It was only once I started on my antipsychotic medication during my stay in a psych ward that I began to put the pieces of my life back together and return to normality. It was during the process of getting back on my feet that I met a girl whom I completely fell for. We went on a few dates, we even kissed, but because of what I was going through, I was so nervous around her that it made things a bit awkward, and I was very much
Bro.
emotionally closed up. I think I just tried too hard to make something happen. I just wasn't ready. I was still recovering
takes
from a
time.
truly traumatic and horrific experience that had completely shattered my mind. I only really started to become myself, to come out of my shell, after we stopped seeing each other, and I began my first relationship with another girl. My girlfriend was a pretty incredible person, and over the last year, with her, I learned to enjoy life, to become free and uninhibited by my anxieties. I became open. I became comfortable with myself and who I was and with the constraints on my existence. I made peace with my experience, with my delusions. Today, I am happy and in control of my life. Truly. At first, it seemed like he was finally at peace, accepting reality and ready to move on. But in 2020, he returned. And this
Oh,
time,
bro, there
it
was a good
worse
ending.
than ever.
There was a good
I'm still
ending.
here. Unfortunately, I'm still here. For a few years now, my life has been pretty good. But at the moment, I'm having an unrelated breakdown and I'm in hospital for another mental reason. I wish I could commit suicide, but I'm still too scared. Maybe it's worth facing it though. I'll have to face death eventually. I'm stuck in hell and my life is I might turn to drugs to have some relief from this relentless pain. I just need to sleep and never wake up. Maybe that can be my reality. I just can't do this. I feel alone. I'm terrified and numb at the same time. The default state of my life
right.
is
Can't
suffering.
jump with that.
If anyone can help dissuade me from QI, short for quantum immortality, please tell me. But please don't make it
No.
worse for me. I'm in agony. Nothingness is a beautiful thing. I just want out. I know it will transfer the pain to other people, and that makes me feel horrible. I wish I didn't have these beliefs. If I didn't, I wouldn't be here right now. Since my last post, I've been diagnosed with OCD, and that explains a lot. I've been given Seroquel today to help me start thinking rationally. This may sound stupid, but the situation has to do with heartbreak and very specific and absurd triggering factors related to it. Maybe that sounds stupid, but I found love, real love, and now it might be over. Life is suffering. I am suffering. I don't want to be here anymore. I wish this was physical pain instead. I really envy Emil Koran. It was a wonderful fantasy to him at the time, because at any moment he knew he could escape, and that gave him immense comfort. My mind is broken, and I don't think I'll ever be able to fix it. This was the last time anyone heard from him. At first, people assumed he had simply gone off the grid again, maybe this time to heal, to finally break free from the chaos. But everything changed in late 2024 when another user made a post about him in r/askmeanything. And this wasn't just any post. My
Dude,
brother
I hope he
killed
didn't.
himself because of QI. Ask me anything. At first, these posts might seem completely unrelated.
Bro,
The
that's
deeper
actually
you
so
read,
sad.
The more pieces start to fall into place. A few years ago, my brother discovered quantum immortality. If you don't know what that is, quantum immortality is a thought experiment that stems from the many worlds interpretation of quantum mechanics. It suggests that if consciousness
pick this up.
continues to exist in some form after death, then in some parallel universe, a person could survive events that would typically be fatal. Essentially, it implies that every time a life-threatening situation occurs, there are branches of reality where that person survives, leading to the idea that they could be immortal in those alternate realities. So, here's a scenario. Imagine a football player who is in a crucial game and faces a life-threatening injury during a play. In one universe, the injury is severe and they don't recover, ending their career. However,
Okay.
in another universe, the player miraculously avoids the worst of the injury and continues to play. According to the concept of quantum immortality, the player's consciousness continues in the universe where they survived, while in the other, they are no longer part of the game. This illustrates how they could be considered immortal in the sense that there's always a version of them that continues to exist. Hopefully that makes sense. My brother discovered it and went in extreme panic for weeks and weeks and constantly made posts asking about quantum immortality's flaws and asking people to explain why it's most likely false. However, no matter what people would try to explain to him, he wouldn't seem to listen. He was set. He later made posts claiming he was going to end it because QI was getting too much for him. He survived. A few years passed and we thought he was doing okay, but then he decided to let go again. and he didn't survive. In his note, he mentioned how QI got to him again, and he couldn't take it. I also was never aware he even had a Reddit account when he was posting all those things about QI years ago, but when he passed, I decided to look through his phone and came across his account. Seeing it all the posts he made a few years ago, breaks me. People have even made videos about him. It kills me. It hurts so much. I think about QI a lot myself. If it is real, then he could still be alive in a different reality. But I try not to make myself go crazy over that shit. I hate how a dumb theory actually killed him. Anyways, yeah. Ask me anything.
Dude, that's so sad.
Next up is Snap
Hang on.
Fingers, and trust me,
Before
he's the most disturbing Reddit user yet. And like AFH43,
before he continues on to another topic, no, dude, there's so much to unpack from that. That's like, it's not the worst story I've ever heard on one of these things, but like, bro, that's so sad. Like, and the weirdest part about it is like the theory, like, I mean, I guess the saddest part is like the theory isn't even like that deep. You know what I mean? Like, that sucks. That really sucks. Especially for like I didn't think, I low-key thought there was gonna be like a happy ending because like he said he had a girlfriend, he had like whatever. But that sucks. I mean, I know like sometimes there isn't a happy ending to stories, but that sucks. And on top of that too, like, I don't even know. All I gotta say, like, for anybody watching is like, if you ever need help, like, help is everywhere, you know? I mean, I also feel like too, for like making content, like, it just sucks because like that stuff also affects people too, you know? Like, even the video we just watched, like, low-key could be like affecting like the family. Like, that just sucks. I don't know. But another thing too, like, you know, sometimes you just need therapy, or sometimes you need like God. Like, I just feel like it's so hard for like some people like to get stuff like that, you know? I don't know. I'm sorry guys, that made me so sad. Like, that poor dude. But alright, let's move on to the next one.
Those signs of insanity and schizophrenia, but his story, it's even darker. This account was created on October 27th, 2019, and right off the bat, they started posting. I have no idea about the gender of this user, so I'm just going to refer to them as they. The very first post by this user is disturbing enough to get you invested. It read, "Saw someone get run over by a train and didn't feel anything. Sometime back, I was on my way to work at roughly, edited out I don't want drama, when some kid ran out onto the tracks and got pulverized by the train. Train used the horn a few times, which didn't deter the kid, who realized they wouldn't make it across the tracks. Way too late. Bystanders started freaking out after the kid got run down. One bystander was irrationally pacing in front of my vehicle, rambling incoherent nonsense. Ambulance arrives quickly and did a quick pickup, and police moved the train, and the world kept on spinning. Throughout the entire process, I felt nothing. I know it's wrong, but I didn't feel anything at all. I had to pretend to end the weird look I was beginning to get from the passenger that was with me. In media, they always say seeing a death is traumatizing and horrifying, but it doesn't make sense. I don't know them or anything else. In the end, I'm confused by the discrepancy. Am I somehow in the wrong for being indifferent in that situation, or is it something else? I know this
I
sounds
feel like not
some
knowing how to
edgy
feel is
garbage,
interesting, but
it is what it is, and I can't really make this not sound like that. It's clear this user is mentally disturbed, but their posts kept getting stranger and more unsettling. Most were
I feel like it's fair to be like unsure how to feel in the moment, but afterwards not feeling anything or any remorse. That's not good.
Seeing and hearing
at
things
all.
that aren't there. Lately, I've been seeing and hearing things that aren't there, even more than normal. Most of the time, it's small things like seeing spiders on me in my peripheral vision, only to look at them and they disappear. Other times, when I'm in bed, this thing about the thickness of a big fist pops up like a big snake on the side of my bed and looks at me only to dart back down out of sight. Whenever I investigate, nothing is there. Rarely there's full body visual hallucinations. The last one was from a couple years ago when I was taking out the garbage. The silhouette of a child crunched down on all fours and charged at me, only to disappear when I looked at it. And before that, there was a large, fleshy, naked, featureless figure slowly walking on all fours in the room down the hall.
Dude, that'd be
Approximately
terrifying.
the average size of a man. All throughout my childhood, I had this thing that would go in my ear. This one used to terrify
go
me,
away.
but it's gotten beyond old. Not reacting to it seems to have gotten rid of that one. Rarely, when I try to sleep, a dog that doesn't exist will bark directly in my ear every time I close my eyes. My neighbors do not own a dog, and the sound is way too close for it to be. The trick to getting rid of it is closing one eye at a time to mess it up, and it won't come back for a long time after. Most of my life, I've been seeing and hearing things, but lately,
the Mayo
the
thing.
small ones have been happening more often, mainly
Oh,
the
Tartar,
spiders
my bad.
and the things that pop up on the side of the bed and small moving shadows. Relatives are super into supernatural, which I do not believe in whatsoever, so they are aware I have seen and heard things. It was just summed up as ghostly mumbo jumbo. I do not inform them about
Right.
what I see and hear anymore because it's pointless and makes it worse. Burning shit in my house doesn't solve the problem. Talking about them gives them strength, and that strength builds up to bad nights where I'm swarmed. I don't want doctors involved. They've treated me as a science experiment before for other things, medical, and I don't want that again.
Oh.
I do not want medication. I want to remain myself. I've never used illicit drugs, alcohol, smoking, or anything in my life and never intend to. I'm more so curious if anyone has dealt with this before and what they did to get rid of it.
Okay.
At this point, it's clear they're suffering from either schizophrenia or very severe PTSD.
I think
Interestingly,
both.
the
I
user
think both.
claims they don't believe in the
Oh,
supernatural,
okay.
but as their
That's fine.
condition worsens, their beliefs take a much darker turn. A few months later, they make the following post, which was deleted right away. However, the content is publicly available on other platforms. It read, "In 2008, I stuck a power drill into my arm. For as long as I can remember, I could see and hear things that weren't real and still do. I usually see them in my peripheral vision, and when I go to look at them, they disappear. But sometimes the big ones don't go away when seen. Sometime back in 2008, I was putting together a shelf when this large black mass came out of nowhere and engulfed my unoccupied arm. I didn't see it till it was right up on me. It scared me so badly, and it was coming up from my arm for my face, so I started jamming the drill into it. On the second strike, I hit my arm and the hallucination dissipated. I had to lie when I went to get it patched up. Said I slipped and stuck myself. This behavior
Dude.
clearly points to psychotic tendencies. Many users urged them to seek professional help, but they refused again and again. On
That's-
this specific post,
yeah, no.
a user named Opinions Cause Trouble replied by
There's
saying,
only so much you could say.
I wonder if maybe you can see into another dimension.
Oh,
This doesn't cause you any
no,
Why is it when you see
no.
more than others, you are an asset to a team, but when you see things
No,
other
bro, you're
cannot,
trolling
you are
him.
crazy. I hope we find a balance in this world, however you see fit. Snapped Fingers reply is where things get interesting and downright creepy. Funny you mentioned that. There's these spiders that sometimes show up in my peripheral vision, and when they are seen, they vanish. I've come to call them interdimensional spiders. Not
Oh,
sure
I
if
am
that's
supposed to throw
actually
them.
what's going on.
I
but
thought so.
it's something I thought about. The other day, there was some guy on Discord telling me about a dimensional merge. Not sure I buy it, but point being, he said something about reality being weaker in some places, causing stuff like this. And some of the
Dude.
things that appear seem to be curious
Oh.
as they just look at me, then hide. Like when I'm in bed, there's these weird arm things as thick as a fist that pop up in my peripheral at the
You
side of
said
my
that,
bed,
yeah.
and when I look at them, they dive back down the side of the bed. Just months ago, this user didn't believe in the supernatural, but now they were starting to believe that they were seeing interdimensional beings and that these visions were more than just a mental illness. By late 2019, they made another post, one even more concerning than the rest. This time, Snapped Fingers
Snack
wasn't just
time.
considering it a possibility, they were convinced. How much of
Oh,
you
oh.
do interdimensional beings require to leave
Frickin'.
anyone for good? Blood ritual. Long story short, I see things that don't appear to be actually there, but are. Recently, I've been discussing this matter with some experts on Discord, and apparently, if I give a significant part
Some
of myself,
experts on Discord
as in
already
only from me, to
already
these
false.
interdimensional beings, they will finally leave me alone. I've been informed a finger is enough to banish them, but I'm not convinced. I don't even know if they will take it completely or just want it removed as some peace
Sorry, I need
offering.
my water.
Basically, I don't know if it can be recovered. On top of that, I'm a bit skeptical on whether or not the whole ritual will work in general blood magic rituals, are something I've never heard of until somewhat recently. Knowing now that this isn't hallucinations like I once thought, but interdimensional beings, I seek others who might have experience with banishing them, and hopefully there's a solution that's a little less extreme. That's right, Snapfingers was now considering a ritual, one that involved sacrificing a part of their body to an interdimensional being, just to be left alone.
I'm sorry,
It was
I
as
gotta
if
like...
they were being manipulated. At first, they refused to believe in the supernatural, but over time...
Okay, I'm sorry, but if you hear somebody like talking about stuff like that, and granted, these people could probably have like mental illnesses of their own, but bro, don't influence him. Come on, like what are you doing? Like, bro, we can't be serious. I feel like anyone who was talking to him like low-key knew what they were doing. You know what I mean? Like, bro, like, and a blood ritual too, like to cut off a piece of your body. Like, no, but like, and he's so desperate to get rid of this that he's willing to do it, even though, well, he's not desperate enough because he's not getting help. But I don't know. That's just so sad. Like, bro, what are you doing? Again, these people could have problems of their own, but
their mindset
still
shifted, and suddenly they were willing to perform bizarre rituals. Then, a few weeks later, a mysterious user left a comment on one of their posts. Chief, please check your DMs. Discord. It's mission critical. Snap fingers. I'll call you guys later, but I want to know the truth now. No BS. It's super late on my end at the moment. In need to crash. Just to be sure, check your DMs, Chief. And don't worry, everything will make sense. If you're still beyond for a bit, let's continue this, or either on Discord or DMs. At first, it seemed like this user was trying to help Snapfingers, but their next post suggested something far more unsettling.
That sounded weird. I don't
Thing
know.
by bedside ghost, or no? For context, long story short, I thought these were hallucinations, then interdimensional beings, then hallucinations, but after meds didn't stop it, I'm wondering if it's ghosts. I know how it sounds, I know. Please hear out the whole thing though, please. Most of my life, I've been seeing things that weren't there, or so I thought, but I'm running out of explanations. Up until a week or so, it kept getting more and more frequent, but now it kind of slowed. But now there's this thing that pops up on the side of my bed that's really blurry. It's kind of like a snake-like arm that darts up quickly, and when I look at it, it ducks back down. I only see this when in bed. I've seen it a few times before, but since the big guy stopped showing up, this little blurry snake/arm thing has increased its visits. The last time it appeared at the foot of my bed when I was playing something on Steam, the second my eyes moved, it darted down. This was the best look I've had at it because it came up in nearly direct line of sight. It was mostly white with 2 or 3 black splodges on it. Previous appearances were mostly the left side of my bed, by the wall, and once on the same side, but by the head of the bed. It just pops up looking at me, I think, then darting back down. The last time I stuck my head right under the bed and saw nothing. I just started addressing it as a friend during its appearances to maybe make peace with it. I'm not scared of this one, just concerned as to the origin of this thing and why it is appearing and such. Has anyone experienced this or know what it is or what it wants?
I don't think anyone would
was
experience
convinced that these
but...
interdimensional beings were actually ghosts now. Fast forward a few weeks, Snapfingers had lost grip on reality, and things started getting serious. Is there really a hell portal down in the Paris catacombs? I believe that if this portal is actually there, that it might be responsible for the release of swarms of interdimensional beings that spread out worldwide. I've been looking for pictures of this portal, but keep getting images of the rooms flooded with bones inside. I need to find the portal's exact location so I can get an off-the-rails guide down there to shut down this portal.
An
I've put together enough money for a flight and to get equipment that can be flown over there. I haven't quite figured out how to shut down the portal yet, but I'm still working on that matter with a duo that has shut down hell portals before. I've been working on this plan for a
Right.
while now, and now that I'm so close, there's now being airports shut down because these interdimensional beings released a biblical plague to stop this from happening. I need to find this portal.
He's talking
If
about
you haven't
COVID?
guessed it yet, the plan Snapped Fingers mentioned was actually the same critical mission the mysterious user referenced earlier.
That's
This suggests
that
they
makes
weren't
sense.
acting
Wait,
alone, but
I
were
didn't
being
think about that.
influenced or even controlled by a group feeding into their delusions. Then, right before starting their journey,
probably is that.
Snap Fingers made another post to update everyone that this is really happening. Advice for traversing unofficial routes in the Paris catacombs. I am in need of advice for traversing the Paris catacombs unofficial/alternative routes. Below is for context. In a few short days, I will be traveling via an alternative means to Paris to bypass the lockdown.
Alternative means.
I'm making this trip to shut down the Hell Portal deep within the Paris catacombs. This portal is responsible for enabling an interdimensional hell incursion into our world. The twisted beings coming from this portal cannot be seen by all, but I can see them and they aren't quite nice. They reach under your door and charge at you, or if they're small, crawl all over you. These beings do not belong in our plane of existence.
I can't
Yet
imagine
someone
seeing
erected
stuff
this
like this. I'm
portal
sorry.
and
I
we
would
built on top of it.
I'd freak.
I know how it might sound, but
I could see why
this
he is
real.
giving into these illusions,
These
but
beings truly exist. If I were in
these
your
people
shoes, I'd
influencing him.
probably be thinking this poster is a nut or two. My current equipment for my journey as of now is one big metal industrial flashlight, 20 turpentine
Okay.
holy ritual flasks to banish small entities, one sleeping
Okay.
bag, one Bible to channel God's divine energy to assist with disarming the portal, 2 cans of beans,
Okay.
one buck knife to open the cans,
2 cans of
and
beans?
one chalk stick to mark my path. I'm considering a small chainsaw for limb sacrifice if I'm cornered by a large interdimensional being and need a quick
Oh,
out. But I don't have any means of halting the bleeding. I haven't found a way around this yet, but my departure growing near, I'm out of time to figure it out, as my volunteer will be arriving any day now to take me to Paris. Advice
Dude.
on the traversal, or even map of the layers of the catacombs would be tremendously appreciated. For those of you who don't know, the Paris catacombs are a huge underground tunnel system filled with the bones of over 6 million people. In the 18th century, cemeteries in Paris were running out of space, so bodies were moved into these tunnels, which were once old stone mines, and today a small part is open to the public, but the rest is a dark, confusing maze where people can easily get lost. Some explorers have tried to
I
get
actually
deeper,
didn't know
but
that.
without maps or lights,
I didn't know anything was
few never
open.
make it
It was
back.
public.
To connect all of this, we need to refer to a post made by Snapped Fingers prior to starting this trip and mentioning the plan. How do I go about banishing interdimensional beings
Get outta here.
more effectively? Advice. For context, no, this is not medical. At first, I thought it was hallucinations, but that is not the case. I met some experts on this site that assured me that these are in fact interdimensional beings. With that out of the way, I came to ask
Sorry.
about better ways to banish interdimensional beings. Currently, I only know the 2 methods listed below, but they are either require hassling the local church, which kicked me out, see Viridian's method, and making a
That's
big
nice,
mess or
I
putting
guess.
myself in peril. Viridian's method,
just let him to
currently
God,
I'm using
but-
the method of mixing turpentine, a bit of
Whatever.
my own blood, and holy water. A small glass enough to banish smaller interdimensional beings, but not larger ones. Master G's method. The other method
Master
can banish
G's.
larger interdimensional beings, but at
They're
the
like
cost
adding
of
new
a
characters.
part of one's self being sacrificed to the entity. Frankly, this method is too risky. Ended up with a hospital stay over it, among other BS. Sorry, Master G's. I appreciate the advice, though. This ties everything together and answers the lingering questions about what was really happening. Snapfingers had been convinced by other users that they were truly interacting with interdimensional beings and had to venture into the Paris catacombs to banish them and save the world. But in reality, it seems like someone was feeding them this idea, possibly inspired by the movie As Above, So Below, where a group discovers a portal to hell.
That's the
in this
movie.
very
I was
same
gonna say that
catacombs.
before.
Snapfingers had already started the trip, so a user who was curious for an update left a comment saying, "Hey man, how's the trip going? Also, try not to get lost down there." Snapfingers replied by saying, "Hey, the trip is going mostly okay, but there was some problems at the beginning and during. At the
So he's
beginning, I
there?
got picked up and dropped off at some big building and had to wait a few days in this building in a wall room. It had
What?
a pretty sweet TV and a stack of movies I could watch. There was a couple who went through my things and they forbid me keeping my pickaxe and shovel. but they didn't go through my things that much, so I still have my buck knife for opening cans only. Then, when the gentleman that would be escorting me finally came, I brought up that I needed my pickaxe and shovel to shut down the hell portal, but they made me leave my shovel and pickaxe behind because they were worried I'd use them as weapons too. It's been kind of a long trip, but it's mostly been just waiting and watching movies, waiting for the gentleman mentioned previously, or later waiting for a signal from someone else to give us the go-ahead to move, which was almost always at night, which sucks. So I haven't slept very well either. Plus, it's very difficult to hide in a car when interdimensional beings start swarming the car. They made me tell them why I kept hiding, so now all the interdimensional beings are really mad and pressing themselves against the windows sometimes, and small ones are crawling inside the cabin. For context, whenever I tell people in real life about the interdimensional beings, they get really mad and start swarming later on. They already had an idea beforehand of what my mission is, so they were kind and understanding of the situation. We just got across the water today, and I'm in Calais right now, where I will be continuing my journey on my own. Although I didn't think to bring money, so I have to go on foot to Paris.
Wait, whoa, what do you do?
I mentioned before,
hang on.
Doritos for my journey. I realized I didn't account for food for the road.
Wait, hang on. Okay, so did he just say that they took his money? I'm sorry, but like I guess like if he's crazy or whatever, like maybe looking through his stuff, like fine, but they took his money? I don't know. I feel like, first off, you're getting dropped off at like some building. I'll give my comments in the end. I'm sorry. I just had to like make sure I heard that. I went back a little bit.
Just waiting and watching movies, waiting for the gentleman mentioned previously, or
actually I'll go a little.
Waiting for a signal from someone else to give us the go-ahead to move, which was difficult to watch time about the
Sorry, guys.
I kind of think this might have been a mistake. Well, I didn't think I'm in Calais right now, where I will be continuing my journey on my own. Although I didn't think to bring money, so I have to go on foot to Paris. I kind of think this might have been a mistake. While the couple I mentioned before gave me some Doritos for my journey, I realized I didn't account for food for the road. Actually, I have nowhere to go for shelter. I didn't account for money for a hotel or a rental car. I'm beginning to realize I'm screwed, like just now. I don't know what to do. I know I can ask for directions, but I have no refuge from these interdimensional freaks. They're still angry. I know it. And when they get the chance, they start swarming again. Jesus, I think this was a mistake. I don't even have enough money to go back. And if I get caught,
I feel bad.
Fucked. I don't have a way to call those guys back to even try asking for help. I don't know what to do. If I keep going, I'm going to be overtaken. If I get caught traveling illegally, I'm screwed either way. I need to clear my head. I'll post later.
Motorcycle outside.
This was a deeply unstable individual traveling to another country for something obscure. It's clear they were confused and not in their right mind. For a while, there were no significant updates. However, soon they made another post, which would change the trajectory of their mission. How do you cure possession by interdimensional beings? I am in a Discord group that has been helping me track down the source of an interdimensional incursion by interdimensional beings. These people helped unearth the truth of where these interdimensional beings are coming from, and even helped me get in contact with people to get me to the Paris catacombs and bypass the travel lockdown. Today, I believe they became possessed. And even though I have all the information I need, I know it isn't right to leave them possessed. I know they're possessed because when I told them I hired the men that can get me to the catacombs, and that I'd be leaving with them to shut down the Paris catacombs, hell portal, they suddenly became opposed to the entire operation. Even though we all planned it together. I am still in contact with the only member of the Discord who wasn't possessed, but even he is at a loss for how I can help the others. If I fail at shutting down the hell portal, they will be forever possessed. And leaving that risk to chance just isn't right. Please help me unpossess them. It's likely that the people manipulating this user realized they had taken things too far and decided to just back out. At this point, Snapfingers was mentally vulnerable and had fully embraced everything they had been told. But to those who had led them down this path, it was just a game. One they had no problem abandoning, leaving Snapfingers completely alone. Shortly thereafter, Snapfingers made another post, and this time it was clear they were in serious trouble. Traveled by questionable means and didn't account for funds to proceed further. I recently hired a group of gentlemen to take me to Paris so I could shut down the hell portal in the catacombs, and I arrived in Calais, but I need to continue on my own to Paris. My problem is I didn't account for funds for really anything. I didn't consider this part of the journey. I have nowhere to go, and I'm currently posting from inside a dumpster to hide
Inside a
from interdimensional
dumpster?
beings. Since there's no light because of how late it is, they're
Bro.
swarming outside my bin. I cannot drag this dumpster with me on my journey as it's obviously too heavy. What should I do for shelter? Snapfingers was now in a pretty bad situation.
Pretty
User
bad,
made a short
really
post
bad.
asking to be invited
Really
back to the Discord
bad.
because they needed to start a car without a key. After that, they made one final post.
Oh,
Since then,
no.
no one has heard from them. We'll be entering the catacombs in a few hours. While I found myself in a bit of a pickle the other day, the troubles are finally over. While I am not proud to have done this, I borrowed a vehicle I found and used it to get to Paris. I have left a note inside the vehicle explaining why I took it, and I have also sent the locksmith to put it back where I found it. Right now, I am just gearing up mentally before I go inside the catacombs. As promised, I will post a video of the destruction of the portal, and I will also create a portal destruction tutorial. I need to thank Avril Screeching artistically for getting me out of the jam I was in by calling a guy who can start a guy without keys. Thank you, Screeching
Oh.
artistically. You really saved my butt. I also want to
Right.
give credit to my other Discord friends who helped me uncover all the information that led to the portal's discovery. Once I shut down the portal, you will be free from your possession. Someone has asked about a time frame for when I will post an update. While I don't know how big the catacombs are, my guess is maybe a day or two before my return with videos. I have taken some test footage while I was held up inside a dumpster the other night, and honestly, the quality isn't that great, but it's alright. To make up for it, I will take more footage while I'm down there. One other thing. Someone mentioned that catacomb explorers might attempt to hinder my travel, which absolutely cannot happen. These individuals have an extremely high probability of being possessed due to their extended exposure to living in the
Oh,
portal
man.
epicenter, so
Oh,
I will be
man.
wary of their threat. Snapfingers was undeniably struggling with severe, very severe mental issues.
He's lost.
Every year, over 500,000 people enter the Paris catacombs, and most are arrested since the police patrol the area constantly. However, there are hidden entry points that only a few know about. Dangerous, uncharted passages that can easily become death traps.
I'm guessing
In the
he's
end,
going in
there
one of
are
those.
only two possibilities.
Or he went in one.
Snapfingers was either arrested or lost their life in the catacombs, alone, where their body
Oh.
may never be recovered. Roman Garnd. This next
Alright,
post
I'm gonna
comes
pause
from
this
the
and I'm gonna
username
just...
Roman Garnd. Unlike the others in this video, this one plays
Dude. That's like... Okay, the other one was like... The other one was more sad. Oh. But like, this one... Dude, like... That poor guy, like... I keep losing this. He's just like lost. Like, that's so sad. Like, I can't even like... Dude, I can't even like... I can't even say anything about it. Like, Bro. Like... And the people manipulating him? That's awful. Like... Okay, cause like... I'm convinced for sure there was people manipulating this guy. But at the same time, there might have been some people who actually, like, believed him. And maybe they had, like, the same sort of problem or, like, similar. But, like, the people who took him in... what was the goal of that, though? Like, because I thought at first that they robbed him. And I didn't want to be, like, weird by saying this before, because I didn't say it. But I low-key thought they were going to do, like, some bad things to him, if you know what I'm saying. Or even, like, manipulate him to do bad things. But they didn't really even do anything. They just had him, like, sit there. And he, like, became, like, homeless. Like, I don't know. Like, that's just so sad, bro. Like, I really hope that he got the help he needed. Like, I hope he managed to not... I don't know. I hope he managed to, like, get arrested or something. And, like, they gave him some sort of help, you know? That's my only hope. But... It just sucks, especially for the people who did that, like... And what... Also, how did he get in contact with somebody to, like, start a car? That's what I'm wondering, like... How did he get in contact with someone to start a car? like, he seemed like to have like connections all over. He got people to take him to Paris. He got like people to help him with the hell portal or whatever. Oh, I just got out of this. I don't know. That was interesting, but like, again, made me like really sad for the guy. Like, sucks. All right, let's move on to the next one. This is Roman Guard, or Gennard. Guard? I don't know. It's loading.
More like a story, but make no mistake, it's far from normal. And if you've made it this far, you might be hoping for something a little less creepy. Well, it is, but don't let your guard down just yet, because this post, it's something out of this world, literally.
Okay.
An alternate life for 30 years. So I came across Steve Cantwell's experience with salvia on a podcast where he lived an alternate life for 8 years in Texas. He was in Alaska on a salvia trip that lasted about 45 seconds. Meanwhile, in my hunt for such experiences, I came across a gentleman on Reddit who shared his salvia trip at 19, where he lived an alternate life for 30 years. He was kind enough to share the complete trip report, which I have shared below. P.S. The hunt began a couple of weeks ago. Ever since my pet cat died a horrible death, and I've been having dreams forcing me to rethink and question our reality and purpose of existence. I'm in my right frame of mind, but have begun to seriously question life as we know it. Thought you may like this experience. Copy and pasting below as received. Thanks. Before starting, it's important to know what salvia is. It's a strong hallucinogenic plant that causes intense but short-lived trips. Unlike other psychedelics, its effects are unpredictable and often unsettling. This hallucinogen is pretty rare to come by, but you're about to hear the experience of someone who managed to get their hands on it, and let's just say, it didn't go well.
I feel like that'd mess you up like permanently too.
Made an actual trip report on, but I have mentioned it in some comments recently. People asking about parallel lives. This is an older experience now that I had many years ago. It's always been a pretty personal thing to me, but it's definitely a parallel life experience. I was 19 when it happened. I'd gotten into this habit of tripping with mirrors at the time, so I was in my bathroom, standing in front of the sink. I had some really bad experiences prior, and honestly my plan was to try and bolt if shit got too strange. I remember with this one in particular, it seemed like nothing was happening. Everything was normal. I leaned in closer to the mirror, and the pupil in one of my eyes started growing and didn't stop. It happened fast. There was no escaping it. It pulled me in like a black hole. I remember being stretched into a line and then smashed into a dot and then blinked out into darkness. That's all I really have going into it. Up to this point, this user's experience seems like a typical salvia trip. Strange, but expected. But this is where things take a much darker turn.
Are we getting salvia this year, guys? Are we?
Faded back
in the Big 25?
As the opening of my eyes, but I was a different person, living a different life on a whole different world. I was now a dude in my 30s, waking up from some kind of overdose. It was very intense on that end of it, because I still had some strong memories of this life that you and I are in now. It took me about a year of their time to reorient myself to that reality. I couldn't even talk right for a little while because I was trying to talk like we do. Everybody thought I had brain damage. In that year, I went to sleep every night expecting to wake back up here in my bathroom. I could not accept that it was real, but it just wasn't going away. I could count time down to the second. The memories of this life eventually began to fade, though. I didn't have all the little details anymore to try and make sense of it to others. Within that life, I also had some pretty big responsibilities that I had to focus on. I had a family and a house. The whole overdose thing cost me a job, but we were able to turn things around once I put my past behind me. You have to understand that this was all backwards to me. While I was there, my experience was that I had done a drug and experienced years of another life, or ours, and within that life, I did a drug that brought me back. Basically, exactly what I am doing right now. And trying to explain this is what I was doing over there too. When you are in one of these parallels like this, no matter which direction you are heading, they become your base reality for the experience. I was questioning our world, not theirs. Theirs was my actual reality for the time being.
You know what's crazy?
So
this reminds me
years later, I was an old man.
Of
my kids were grown up and moved out.
Sorry. Well,
one of them had asked
I'll listen
me
to this.
look for
I'll say it later.
for them in the attic. I went up there and found a box that was very out of place. In it were things from this life we are in now. It was the biggest mindfuck I think I've ever experienced in my life. In that box, though, was a pipe and the same drug I'd overdosed on. Same exact bowl, actually. It was a little burned, but still had a few tokes left. I was just so confused and felt like I was finally close to an answer So I hit it one more time and closed my eyes. When I opened them again, I was standing in my bathroom, 19, looking at the mirror. And just like the
Dude.
first transition, I was all f***ed up about it. I still had to reorient, but this was salvia, so there was no waking up from an overdose. It was like 30 years of whatever the hell that was. It was just crammed into my head all of a sudden. I think it was about 4 minutes that had passed in total. Around 3 a.m., I remember just sitting on my bathroom floor, feeling like my head was about to explode, but not in the pounding headache kind of way. I sat there for 4 hours. At one point, I just started crying because I couldn't grasp what had happened. I was still very aware of my wife and kids and wondering if I'd ever see them again. My sister didn't even knock, just slowly opened the door and asked me what was up. She was actually very crucial in helping me reorient to this reality as my name. I tried to explain it to her.
Oh.
My language was a little off again, but not as bad, and she was pretty much kept my family at bay while I sorted everything out. It didn't take me long to put on the mask, but mentally it did take me about another year to let it go.
Wow.
And that's another problem, is the whole mask idea. I don't know how to fully feel like this person that I am, but I'm trying every day. I've seen many other parallels, even on things other than salvia. With salvia, I've left the parallels altogether and experienced core self. This was significant as my longest lived and most detailed parallel experience. You know, this is really why you don't blast a whole bowl of high-level salvia extract by yourself to see something cool. That's
Right.
not what this is. It is extremely powerful, and it will loosen anyone's grip on reality. It has to
Right.
go in there as a no one. This must be respected as something more than a drug. You have to let go of this illusion if you wish to do salvia properly. Any and all attachments to your name must be left at the door before you cross over. This is how you bypass the parallels and reach the core self. This
Bro.
is how we can remember who we are.
That was like one of the... Oh, dude, I did it again.
The next user on our list was a
Hang on.
Countess.
What the fuck was that? What was that? I'm sorry, what was that? Like, there's so much to say from that. Like, bro, it kind of reminds me of the one guy. He got a concussion. I don't remember his name. He got a concussion, and he lived like a whole life. And it was like he had like kids. He had like, I don't know how to say. Oh my god, I just died again. Okay, but he had like kids. He had like a family, and he grew old. And then he woke up, and he was like, "Wait, what's going on?" And like he realized like he, obviously had like concussion and stuff, but it messed him up, and he had to like recover for like a year and a half. I don't remember like where I saw that. I actually might have been Reddit, but dude, that's literally the same thing, except you kind of chose to do that. But I've never heard of salvia before. That's weird. I don't know who would do that. I don't know who would do that, but oh, okay. Next user is user deleted. So great.
Since been deleted, but their story remains just as disturbing.
But their
This
story
teen was in foster
won't be
care
deleted in our
when
hearts.
They stumbled upon something so unsettling, it's
Mute me.
almost unbelievable. Around 7 years ago, a post appeared on Reddit. I think I'm being watched. Is this a camera? The post had a picture
Wait!
attached to it, which
Oh,
at
it's the
first
picture!
looked like normal
It's the picture
text.
of
However,
a
if you look
outlet,
closely
yes.
enough, you can see a tiny lens at the bottom right. Yes, that's right. This teen was in foster care, and someone had planted a hidden camera in their bathroom.
Oh,
The whole Reddit
hell
community
nah.
was enraged. The
No.
user was in a pretty bad spot and didn't know how to handle this. A user named berries_cherries left a comment by saying, "Hey, stop whatever you're doing right now and call the FBI at this number.
Dude,
When you call
what?
them, tell them that you found a camera in your foster parents' bathroom and you believe it was set up to record you and any others using the bathroom. Tell them your
Yeah,
age and
especially in the
address
bathroom. I
and
didn't
ask
hear
for
that.
an agent to come to the scene. This is not something you want to leave to CPS or the locals at this point. As a cop, I can say that this is, number 1, illegal, 2, abusive, 3, you need to get out of the house now. If you have any
Very well
questions,
said.
shoot me a PM. After that, more followed. Even if their intention was to check on you,
Oh.
make sure you're not in there shooting up heroin or something, placing a spy camera in
In the
anyone's bathroom
bathroom.
and filming them without consent when
Yeah.
privacy is to be expected
Especially
is
a kid's
illegal.
bathroom?
If you're underage and the intent was
Oh,
to
you just
poop
said it.
on you, that's some shit. Whoever placed it can get in some serious trouble for you. Video voyeurism and production of explicit images of a minor are both serious charges. I would suggest you talk to someone you trust, like a teacher or a counselor.
That's
or
creepy,
someone
bro.
Who you
In a
know
bathroom.
for sure didn't place the camera. Turn it over to the authorities. Chances are whoever placed it is going to be the first person to pop up on that SD card. A lot of people were now invested in this story. So the user decided to drop some info about himself, about how he ended up in this situation. However, this information came with a horrifying update. He wrote, "Okay, I'll write a full update / life story now. My parents died in 2013, sending my brother and me to foster care. For the past 3 to 4 years, I've lived with this guy and his dad who have done some awful / creepy shit. It'd feel wrong to exclude the fact that he supported my brother and me for so long that this is unacceptable. A week ago, my brother moved out, leaving me with this guy who just put a camera facing the shower this morning. I posted this thread on my
Facing
break.
the shower?
Now I'm off work at home after talking with him about it.
I just realized he said
don't
that.
wanna live here anymore. I haven't for a while, but I have no one that will take me in at 16. I've built the last 3 years of my life living here. I have no idea what to do. I've tried calling CPS before. They came and left, and that can't happen again. I'm pretty much alone in this house with no one to talk to or help me. What am I supposed to do?" The user
Can he go to
was
school,
too afraid
though?
to call the cops, fearing that if they confronted their foster parents and the police did nothing, it would only make matters worse for them.
Well,
However,
yeah.
after getting support from the community, he told his brother, who was out of foster care, the whole thing and decided to finally notify the cops. Then updates followed. Update: CPS has been called. I have a place I can stay at if they take me when they come. Now I play the waiting game. I'll update when they come.
Okay.
However, the next
Did smart
update
decision,
that
but
they posted changes everything.
oh,
That's the only reason I was hesitant to call in the first place. I've done it before, and they just left. I can only hope. Now, I know this doesn't
Wait,
make
so
much
what?
sense here, but the next post they made connects all the dots about what actually happened.
So wait, they just
They later
left?
posted one last update, and after that, there has been no activity on this account. The post is titled "Bathroom Camera Update." While the post itself has been deleted, but reading the comments reveals something terrifying. The police didn't do anything and left the user with the foster parents.
What?
For better context, here is what a user named Naked Viking had to say about the situation. What the fuck? Did CPS say anything? Just, well, that's fucked up. Hope we don't get raped /
Right.
killed. See ya. You need to get the fuck out of there, man. Another user named Curious Kerr made a comment by saying, "Holy shit, that's some intensive expunge shit there. I wonder why they left without OP. Why couldn't they investigate and watch the clips in their FBI van and assess at the spot?
Right.
OP's guardian will delete any evidence and will get away with it. And what's going to happen with OP? Just wither and die? What the fuck? This is making me livid and making my blood boil." This was the last post made from this account, and no one has heard a single thing from him again. There were multiple people who actually contacted the authorities themselves to help the OP. However, it looks like the foster parents did get him in the end. While the OP never posted anything again, another user named 645-33546 made a post in r/best of legal advice covering this whole thing around the same time, which reveals that the foster actually took away all the electronics from the OP, so
Are
he
you
did
serious?
not get in contact with anyone else. The post read,
Okay,
"What's
that's
that? Your proof foster parent is spying on you in the bathroom? Well, we'll leave you here while we look into it. Police. A teenager adopted into foster care came across a device in the bathroom they thought was a camera and brought it up on r/what is this thing? After getting it identified and alerting the appropriate authorities, they then took the camera device and let the teen stay with the foster parent whose house the camera was in. After that, the foster parent then retaliated by confiscating all electronics, save an old phone which was used for the update. It's actually a pretty messed up situation, so I hope this leads to a positive resolution, but given how it's been handled thus far, I'm not feeling optimistic. I also wasn't sure how to go about sharing this non-r/legal advice post in here, since the rules require some element of legal advice. and this is clearly a situation that involves legal advice on top of being pretty crazy. So I'll leave it to the mods on how this goes. Edit. While I was typing up the body, I realized the typo in the title and told myself I'd go back to fix it, and, well, yeah, sorry. Edit 2. Clarified that police only took camera, foster parent took other electronics. This post connects all the dots and reveals that the case was buried somehow. Maybe
Was
the
buried?
foster parent pulled some strings so that the OP would be left with no proof about the whole situation.
Wow. So like they what, like paid them off or something?
Up disturbing.
Dude, there's like no
Hope you enjoyed
ending.
this video. This is a
What?
new style for me, new editing, new scripting, new video topic, and just general. Comment down below if you enjoyed
Bro.
this. Would you like to see more?
That's like, bro, like what? So it's actually really, I've been like waiting to like see this video for a while. So like I've like I thought there'd be like a different ending than that, but like dude, and especially the fact that like other people try to contact the police and they just can't do anything? Like nah, that's I can't. I like what? Bro. I hope and pray he's good. Like that's I mean that video was made like what, a couple years ago now? Or not that video, the post? The video was 3 months ago, so the post was probably like hopefully like a year ago. So I mean hopefully he's like 17, 18. Hopefully he can get out of there. I don't know. That's awful. Alright, we're gonna do one last one. You know what? Let's go with we'll go from the same author. Or the same YouTuber, sorry. Oh, this says you're not alone, suicide thing. Okay.
Reddit's usually just a random spot on the internet where you scroll through memes, rants, and strange thoughts. But sometimes you stumble across stuff that
like I
makes
said,
you
I'll be
wish you
putting these
had.
videos in the description later.
Sure, weird posts happen all the time.
So you guys can watch them.
But a few of them are so terrifying, they stick with you long after. And before we get into it, please like the video and subscribe to the channel. Thank you. And today, we're diving into some terrifying Reddit users and their stories that will haunt you.
Oh, this
Jason and
to Craig Henry.
At first, this
This poo-poo
sounded
does
like
not
one of
suck.
those harmless
I'm
rants.
watching
You
Reddit
know,
horror
someone
stories.
had a bad day, hopped on Reddit,
And
and just
who's-
needed to
oh.
let off some steam. Nothing serious. But that's
I
where
hope
everyone
you're
was wrong,
subscribed.
because this
If you got
post didn't
notification.
end with a few angry comments and an edit saying, "Thanks for the upvotes." It turned into something real, something terrifying, and for the OP, it left a mark that's probably gonna stick for life. It all started when Jason and Hell made a post in r/relationship advice saying, "I'm 30 male, having a hard time coping with my wife, 29 female, having cheated on me with our neighbor, 51
Oh.
male. It has been 476 days since I confronted her about it. How do I know? Because every time I catch myself thinking about it, I tell myself, it's been X days, maybe you won't think about it tomorrow." So, to go back to the beginning, I'd just taken on a new project and new responsibilities at work. I was working a lot of hours, 60 plus per week, and was noticeably stressed. It was in May of 2015 that I noticed that she had added a password to her phone. When confronted about it, she told me it was because she was planning my Father's Day present and didn't want to ruin the surprise.
Right.
About a week later, she came to me and told me that she felt guilty keeping a big secret from me, and told me that she was having our neighbor, a contractor, build a home office for me as my present.
A home
It struck
office
me
for
as odd,
Father's
as
Day
in our
present?
6 years together, she has never said she felt guilty about anything, and always insists that she never regrets anything in her life. Time goes on.
Great.
Her phone is still password protected, and things don't feel right. I see her using her phone and smiling to herself more and more often, but when I ask her what she is doing, she says nothing and puts her phone away. So, it turns out OP's wife was cheating on him with the neighbor. And he was
Damn.
barely holding it together. What's wild is he knew the exact number of days since he found out. That's how deep
Sorry.
it hit him. In the next part, he explains how he discovered it. And let me tell you, the way his wife started acting made all this even more disturbing. So one morning, I wait for her to get in the shower and I grab her phone before it requires a password. I go through her messages and find that she is texting the neighbor. I am all covered in frosting. You want to lick it off? There were no other messages to the neighbor, but I found out later that was because she had set up her phone to delete messages after a certain amount of time. I felt uncomfortable with it, but I knew she had a perverted sense of humor, and I thought she would never do anything to hurt me. More time goes by, and the neighbor is spending more and more time at our house, but the office is being completed slower and slower. I can't help but worry that something isn't right, so I start checking her location using Google Timeline. It was at this point that I realized that there are large gaps in her GPS history because she was turning off her phone's GPS. Fast forward to July, and at this point, the paranoia is driving me nuts, so I tell her that I need to install new antivirus on her phone. While she has it unlocked for me, I install anti-theft software so I can remotely turn the GPS back on and set up AT&T Messenger back up and restore so I can read all her text messages from that point on my computer. The next day, my mother asked to spend time with my 2 kids, so my wife drops them off with her and has the day to herself. I watch my wife's activity from work as she spends the day trying to meet up with a neighbor, but is unsuccessful because he is busy with another job site. That night, we get the kids back from my mom's house, and we go out to dinner with the neighbor, his girlfriend, and his son. My wife and his girlfriend are having a good time drinking, laughing, and just joking around. His girlfriend mentions that she would like to see Magic Mike XXL. I say it's a good idea. I'll watch the kids so my wife and her can go. So my wife and her go, and the neighbor and I go back to my house so the kids can play video games together. The kids are back in my son's room playing games, and the neighbor is sitting across from me on the other couch. It is at this point that my wife starts texting him. She is describing sex acts she would like to perform with him, and he is reciprocating. She tells him to check his Snapchat, and at the time I get a Snapchat from her too, and it is her herself in a bathroom stall. Talking, trying to figure out when they can meet up and have sex. They decide on Monday morning after I go to work. So in my head, I had already planned to pretend to leave and circle back to catch them. But then they tell each other that they love each other, and it is all I can do to not leap off the couch.
That sucks.
I contain myself and continue reading the conversation unfolding in front of me. Then he tells her, "You're my girl now." To which she replies, "Always have been," ending with him writing, "and always will be." My wife and the neighbor's girlfriend return from the movie, and I ask them politely to sit down. I then ask the kids to stay in my son's room and shut the door. I return to the living room and confront my wife and the neighbor. I say, "So, you two, love each other, huh?" My wife goes
bro immediately confronts.
And starts smacking him. I
I
ask my wife if she has been texting him. She says no, so I show her the text messages. She admits to it, but says it was the first time it had gone that far. I ask my wife if she has sent him pictures.
I'm texting my girlfriend.
She says no, so I show her the picture. She admits it, but says it was the first time. I ask her if she is having sex with him, and she says no. Because I didn't wait to catch them having sex together, I didn't have evidence to prove her wrong, so that one stayed unresolved.
But he did get a video of her doing
that. Me that she will make sure I never see my kids again if I do. She
What?
planned on using the fact that I'd attempted suicide in high school to prove me unfit to have the children. She continued to say that it was my fault for being so busy with work and stressed out.
What?
She just wanted someone she could talk to.
How?
Then she gives me an ultimatum to decide what I'm going to do, or she will decide for me. The neighbor's girlfriend starts defending the two of them, saying that it couldn't have been serious if they weren't having sex, and that my wife and I are too perfect together to let this break us up.
Yeah, right. She knows all about it.
My wife and I argue for the rest of the night about what we are going to do. We go to bed separately, having not resolved anything. We keep going back and forth on the subject all weekend, and finally settle on we were going to separate temporarily while we figure out what we want. I was going to stay in the house.
That's what she wants.
And she was going to take the kids and go to her mom's house. That Monday, I go to work, and I get a text from her in the middle of a meeting with my bosses, stating that she had explained things to her kids, but that they were
What?
upset and I need to explain it to them also. I
Oh,
got
she
home from
explained it
work to
wrong
find my
too.
kids crying. She had told them that
Guarantee
mommy
it.
had to move out because dad was mad at her. When my son wanted to stay with me, she told him that he can't. My son put it together that if mommy has to move out because I'm mad at her and he must move out, then I must have been mad at
Sorry,
him
guys.
too.
I keep dying
My
for some
daughter
reason.
was crying because my son was. I don't think she was old enough to understand what was happening. Now, her behavior at this point is completely unacceptable. And you'll want
Yeah.
to keep this part in mind because it ends up shaping the entire story. OP then starts to realize just how heavy this is going to be. Not just for him, but for his entire family.
Right.
It was at that moment I realized she was going to drag the kids through hell if I left her, so I swallowed my feelings and begged her to stay. She agreed and insisted that I apologize to our neighbors since we are still going to need to hang out with them because our sons are good friends. I hate it, but I do it anyway. We still hang out
Bro,
with them from time to time.
he's a real man. I'm
and they
sorry.
come to our
Like,
various birthdays and holiday
I don't know if I can do
parties,
that.
but I do anything for my kids, and I behave civil every time. Things died down for a while. I still think about it constantly. I worry, how can I keep from making her so unhappy that she cheats on me again? Then, almost a year from the original incident, around Father's Day again, she sent him pictures again. She claims it was an accident, that she meant to send them to me instead. I
Right.
don't fully believe her.
Right.
I'll move on anyway.
Right.
Things have been quiet on that front for about 4 months now, but I still think about it constantly. This is going to sound stupid, but I feel like I have a part of my brain that I can't shut off. That is always
Understandable.
thinking. I used to use that to solve programming problems, and it made me very good at my job, but ever since this incident, the only thing it thinks about is her and him, and if I did the right thing. My job performance has suffered, and I feel like I haven't gotten sleep in months. I'm afraid that after this much time and the fact that I begged her back, that to say that I want a divorce now would only make her more vindictive towards my children and I. I just feel like I have put myself so deep in a hole that I can never get back out. I haven't really talked to anyone about this. I didn't want to talk to my mom about it because I felt like she would treat my wife differently, and I didn't need the two fighting anymore than they already do. I tried talking to one friend about it, but his advice was to put my trust in God, but that was not much solace for me, as I am an atheist. So
well,
I have no
that's fair.
clue what to do with my feelings or how to move on from this.
I mean,
By this
if you
point,
don't believe in God, I
everyone
guess you
could
can't
see where
really
it was heading. His
put that
wife
anywhere.
clearly didn't want to fix anything. No couples therapy, no heart-to-hearts, just cold silence and threats. Reddit did what Reddit does. They flooded the comments telling him to get therapy, to lawyer up, to protect himself. And yeah,
to get therapy.
to get her help too, because that kind of threat doesn't come from nowhere. OP came back with a short update. Just a few lines, but it said everything. I'm taking your advice. Instead of trying to fix something she doesn't want to fix, she has refused counseling several times in the past before this even happened. I'm going to get myself and my kids out. I meet with an attorney next week. Thank you, everyone, for helping me see how far I had my head up my ass. Everyone on Reddit felt like they could finally breathe. After months of updates, drama, and emotional whiplash,
It's not over yet.
He had finally made the call. Divorce, full custody, and a fresh start. The comments were full of support. People were proud of him. He was finally moving on.
Oh, hey, what's up?
Putting himself and his kids first.
I was streaming.
But that peace, it faded into thin air before it even began. Just a few weeks later, everything came crashing down. His wife called 911. She told the operator something that would flip his entire world upside down, and whatever hope Opie had for a clean start was
Actually, let me
gone.
pause this really quick.
Montgomery County 911, where's emergency?
Oh, wait, whoa. Hang on. I'm gonna take a quick break and pause. We'll be right back. Sorry, guys. I just wanted to. My dad came in, and I had to go to the bathroom, so I figured I'd take the opportunity. So, um, I've been holding it for like an hour. Oh, my mouse isn't plugged in. Let's go back a little bit. This is the 911 call, I guess. Here's good.
Just a few weeks later, everything came crashing down. His wife called 911. She told the operator something that would flip his entire world upside down, and whatever hope Opie had for a clean start was suddenly gone.
Montgomery County 911, where's your emergency?
203 South Madison Street,
In what town?
Darlington.
Hey, what's going on there?
I just stabbed myself and I killed my 2 children.
You
What?
stabbed yourself and killed your 2 children?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and what's your name?
Brandy Worley.
Brandy what?
Worley?
She stabbed her children?
Okay.
Wait.
How do you spell your last name?
Worley.
And where are the children at?
In my daughter's room on the
In-
floor.
In your daughter's room on the floor? Okay. What's your phone number, Brandy?
What was that noise?
And what caused you to do this
it was
today?
blurring out the phone number.
My husband wanted a divorce and wanted to take my kid. I won't let him find my kid.
Okay, and how old are your children?
7 and 3.
What in 3?
10 and 3?
10 and 3, okay.
7.
7 and 3?
Well, guess he was wrong too.
Okay. And where did you stab yourself at?
In the neck.
In the neck? How is she even still like... Well, I guess it depends where and how deep.
Okay, are you bleeding?
Yeah, there's blood everywhere.
Okay, she sounds kind of psycho.
Okay, and where are you
Right.
at?
In my living room.
You're in their living room?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and are you armed now with the knife still?
No, it's in my children's room.
Right, leave it with the kids. Leave it with the kids, sure.
She waited until the night he handed her the divorce papers. They weren't even sleeping in the same room anymore.
No.
He was downstairs trying to find some kind of peace in his basement. She was upstairs with the kids. And that's when she did it, while he was just a floor below, unaware
Unaware
of
Patrick.
everything. She made sure he'd never get the chance to take the kids.
So she killed...
She killed both of them. Her son Tyler, 7 years old. Her daughter, Charlie, just 3. And then she turned the knife on herself, stabbing her own neck. No signs, no warning, just silence.
I'm surprised she called the police and didn't like make it like he killed them.
What if you can create your own website by saying, this
shut
is
up.
what I want? With Wix, you can.
Oh, shut up.
That night, the only sound in that house was of the OP downstairs, having no idea that everything he loved was already gone. By the time he made it upstairs, it was too late. Though the wife survived. And when the trial came, the court didn't hesitate. She was sentenced to 120 years in prison.
Good.
She wasn't
Good.
just going to
Good.
away. She was gone for life. At the same time, they treated her for severe mental health issues, and
Fair.
yeah, she had a long list of them. Things that
Fair.
probably should have been handled years ago, before it came to this. But by then,
There is a
none of
thing
it
over here.
mattered. Not to OP, not to anyone. Because nothing was ever bringing those kids back.
Bro.
After that, OP vanished. No updates, no comments, nothing. His account was deleted, like he just disappeared into the grief. And honestly, who could blame him? But then, 2 years
Oh,
later,
wait. There's an update.
out
Okay.
of nowhere, a new post appeared.
What?
It was OP. He came back with a heavy heart and way too much pain for one person to carry. And what did he have to say? It was the kind of thing that doesn't leave you after you read it. I'm doing better, and I continue to get better every day. The first thing you may notice is this is being posted from a different account.
Okay.
I deleted the
Oh.
Jason in Hell account in a knee-jerk reaction to seeing my Reddit posts in the news. I guess the first question to answer is how am I doing? And to that, I would say I'm doing well. I have bad days, but I would think that is to be expected. It is just important that I, or anyone going through something, continue to use the support of friends and family as well as good coping skills to not let myself be completely defeated on those bad days. I won't lie, I struggled to get back to where I am. For some time, I refused to sleep because of the combination of fear of what I would wake up to and nightmares about that night. For a time, I used alcohol to sleep, but my family loved me enough to take it from me before it became a damaging and permanent habit. I was hospitalized because I did have thoughts of ending my life because I miss my children so much. From that, I learned that you should never be ashamed of your mental health, and not seeking treatment will only make it worse,
You go over
not
here.
better. We have all heard it, but if you or a loved one is struggling, seek immediate assistance.
Yes.
Your life is too important to throw away in a moment of weakness. By putting off treatment, I only caused everything else in my life to suffer. I lost my job and became reclusive to the house. But don't worry, I have been back to work since December, and I have nearly regained my former position and salary, so I'm good and require no assistance. The second
Well, that's
question
good.
would be, how do I feel about the sentencing? That is something that is harder to answer because no matter what the sentence, nothing
Oh, I
will
know.
bring back my beloved children. Do I think she should have gotten the death penalty, which Indiana has? No, I do not. She wanted to die, and after 9 years of giving her what she wanted, when she wanted it, I was not going to give her another thing. Do I think the life sentence will have any appreciable effect on her?
No.
I don't know.
I doubt
thing
it.
she has always stressed for the entire time that I knew her was that she lived her life without any regrets. Even after I caught her cheating on me, she continued to say she had no regrets. As for the ex-in-laws, they continue to be a problem to this day.
Oop.
Shortly after everything happened, they changed the locks in the home I was renting from them with my
Wow.
property
Are you
still inside. After trying to civilly negotiate the return of the property, it was required that I involve law enforcement. That is an ongoing legal battle. A member of the family
Still.
accused me of stealing property I had purchased from them prior to the death of the children and threatened to take action against me unless I paid double what I had already paid them.
Double?
I alerted the authorities,
Nah.
and as far as I know, that is resolved. They continued to make visiting my children's grave difficult. During the 1-year anniversary, they sat in their truck and just watched me the whole time I was visiting the grave. Because of that, I don't visit the grave as often as I would like to. If I can impart on you something I've learned through all of this, it is that you should always take the time to be with the ones you love. It doesn't matter if they are asking you to read The Pokey Little Puppy for the millionth time or asking you to play Smash Bros, even though you both know they will wipe the floor with you every time. Just do it because you never know what time will be the last time. Always make sure they know how much you love them. I had the fortune that the last thing my children ever heard me say was, I love you. Good night.
Bro. What happened to the video? Oh, it's a stupid dog ad.
I'll see you in the morning. Jason made it through. He didn't let the grief destroy him, but it wasn't easy. In the end, he refused to give up. And maybe we can all learn from that. Life's short, and you never know what's coming. So take the time to be with the people you love, because you never know what might happen next.
Dude.
Worthless 319. After hearing that
Hang
heartbreaking
on.
story, you're probably thinking things can't get worse. Well,
Okay.
brace yourself. The next Reddit user
There's so much to say from that, bro. Like, dude, that That sounded like a movie plot. Like, how could you do that to your kids? Like, I get the guilt that you might have, sure, but to your kids? She did that because she knew she would hurt him through it, too. Like, I know it, like... Dude. That's awful. That... Man, like... That guy is so strong, too, from that. Like... I don't know how I could handle that, especially... And the freaking in-laws, too, of course. Of course, they're... Like, what are they mad about? Seriously, what are they mad about? Their kids didn't die. And if it was anything, it was their relative that did it. That's awful. Bro. That's... I honestly, I don't know what to say after that. Like, I'd like to, like, give, like, a little, like, you know, my opinion or, like, my whatever after each thing I'm watching, but... Dude, I can't... I don't know what to say. Like... That guy, like, you just... He's a strong dude. God bless him. Even though he's an atheist, you know, like... I hope he finds God. I hope he gets peace. I hope he gets something that can help him. I don't know what to say. Like, that's just such an awful experience. And... low-key, at first, like, when I was listening to it, I was like... Okay, this might not be true. Like, you know what I mean? Like... I don't know why. I had, like, a hunch. I was like... It might not be true. And then... He kind of continued it more. And especially at the end, I believe it. I'm sorry, I believe it. Like... I don't know why I doubted it in the beginning. It just felt like... It felt like too crazy to be true. You know what I mean? Like... Well, okay. It didn't feel too crazy to be true. What I mean, like... It felt like it was kind of scripted in the beginning. Like, the lady's cheating, he doesn't know what to do, he decides to stay, waits a bit longer, like, I don't know. It just felt a little weird in the beginning. And then, halfway through, I'm like, okay, it's a bit more realistic, like, he's doing it for his kids, you know what I mean? And then the end, I just fully believe it. I can't explain it, it's just... That's something a terrible person would do. I don't know. I'm sorry. That, like, I'm low-key... I'm muted again, but... That... I don't know what to say after that. Let's continue. This is going to be our last one for the night.
User I'm covering is by far the most disturbing user I have covered in this series.
There we go.
He
Most disturbing user.
Worthless 319. And his journey through Reddit is a raw, unfiltered, and gruesome look at an existential crisis. A slow descent into dread that'll make you question what it really means to lose your grip on reality. But it's not just him spiraling. The things he went on to do, they'll make you stop and take a long, hard look at the world we're living in. It all started in 2016 when he made a post in r/Buddhism saying, "How to bring an awareness into suffering." This post is crucial because it gives us a stark glimpse into his mental state, a window into the world he was living in. Another user, Answery, tried to offer some rational advice. They suggested he find a teacher, a guide to help him. But Worthless 319's reply, it's chilling. He responded with, "The increase in worldly chaos is a reflection of my inner turmoil and recent failures. I am a messiah, whose sole purpose is to elevate humanity's consciousness and avoid self-annihilation. Crucifixion of the ego is a process of nature, no different than the rainfall or a flower blooming. It is what a human consciousness grows into. As per the lotus flower, to pay off karmic debts and sever the egoic self from samsara. I should have been practicing the past year, but I was in the darkest depression that exists. Extremely suicidal day after day, having severely and failing to fulfill the requirements. Recently, I fulfilled the requirements. That is why we are hanging on edge of a world war. To finish the process, all I must do is meditate. I'm very good at it. I get extremely high, and my consciousness expands rapidly. The problem is, when I finally choose to, my consciousness will expand and merge with the infinite one, and I will experience hellfire, the purest suffering that exists. My ego is extremely frightened and clings on as hard as possible. I am having trouble seeing the suchness in severe suffering for myself, but I know I must overcome for humanity, even though there is no I to experience the suffering. It is like leaping off the edge of a cliff, knowing you will reach the bottom, and it will hurt the whole way down, but you won't die. Quite the opposite, actually. It will invigorate you with life. I'm not sure how to make the leap, but I believe tomorrow is my day, given the universal sign of impending chaos from the eclipse. I believe Ansari was ahead of all of us. He could tell something was off, something darker was going on with Worthless 319. This wasn't just a guy having an existential crisis, no. Worthless 319 had something far more complicated, and maybe even sinister, going on in his mind. So, Ansari replied simply by saying, "Too much I thinking. Even your jihad against I creates more I. You need guidance to help you through the torturous territory of your own thinking. This sounds more like a mental health issue than a Buddhist one." This is how the story of Worthless 319 starts. He did talk about normal things, like in one post.
You think an ad's playing? Well,
As a professional mechanic, your tools are essential for your living.
I'm just gonna say, right from here, what is going on? Like, okay, so this guy thinks he's like a messiah or something. And if it gets too far with like, if he's gonna be like really weird about it or whatever, I'm gonna turn off the video or like skip over this segment, only because I'm a Christian. I'm not getting into that. I'm not really into that kind of stuff. But one thing I will say is like, for like this mental health thing, like he's like, is he just that far gone? He just like believes he's like a messiah or something, and he believes that he's gonna bring like order and like peace. Is that like, and like he has to like sacrifice himself or something? And another thing too that I'm a little confused about is like, he's saying how like the world's in like a terrible spot or whatever, like, and like there's like a impending war, which I don't really remember what happened in 2016 regarding world war issues, but as far as I can remember, I don't think there's anything that crazy going on. I don't really know. I'd have to look it up, and as you can see, I'm playing SpongeBob, but I don't remember that happening. So my question is, what is he talking about? Like, I'm just confused. And I feel like he like used a lot of big words, and he kind of just like, I don't know. It was just a little off. Which, I mean, obviously it's pretty off. I just realized I'm gonna try to save this kid one more time. These challenges are actually like pretty hard for saving the kids, and I don't know why. Actually, wait. Oh, I say that, bro. I say it and I get it. I say it and I get it. All right, let's continue. Listen to the Harbor Freight ad. What, the SpongeBob music glitches in the background? Nope, that's the wrong one. Okay. Anyways, is the video gonna play? Sorry. Oh no, Steam's opening now. Thanks, Steam. Sorry. I was gonna say, and now Steam's opening. Alright. Yeah, get your Steam. Okay.
However, right after this one post about North Korea,
I'll go back a little bit.
Like in one post, for example, he was talking about North Korea. Does North Korean leadership know what an eclipse is? Might they consider it an attack from the U.S.? Well,
what?
As close to normal as it gets. However, right after this one post about North Korea,
okay,
everything changed as he made a bone-chilling post in r/awakened. Fear of suffering / bringing an awareness into suffering. The innate truths behind the universe have been revealed to me. I have severely self-to near death in the past, and I was awful at dealing with the pain. I couldn't remotely bring a non-judgmental awareness into it. Sitting on the edge of eternity, I see pure suffering, as awful as it gets once my life is over. It is my path to enlightenment, no different from Christ's, but I'm scared. I can't function anymore. I am so afraid of what comes after for me. Saying me is an odd thing though. Mere suffering exists, no sufferer is found. The deeds are, but no doer of the deeds is there. Nibbana is, but not the man that enters it. The path is, but no traveler on it is seen. I've read Be Here Now about 25 times front to back. Near the end it depicts Christ, and it says this trip requires total suffering, but it's got to be suffering that is no suffering. It also says you've got to go the whole suffering trip, but you can't be the guy who is suffering. I understand this means the physical body and ego will die, but how can one manage to suffer without suffering? I'm so caught up on this, I can't step over the line into the infinite. Things quickly took a darker turn. Worthless 319 wasn't just talking about politics or random thoughts anymore. He started discussing something much more disturbing. Himself. At first, Reddit users brushed it off. They thought maybe this was some guy who'd taken a psychedelic and thought he had awakened or gotten closer to some higher power. But they were wrong. They didn't realize how serious he was, or the lengths he was willing to go to achieve his goal. A goal no one could quite understand. All we knew was that he believed in some kind of higher powers and was trying to find ways to reach them. What was his purpose? What was driving him? No one really knew. This was pure existential dread, the kind that doesn't fit into any neat box. It's not something you can easily classify. It's a journey into madness that's hard to even comprehend. Though he revealed something far more.
Well, I'm not really going to go too much farther into that. Because, like, low-key, I'm not really comfortable with that. So, sorry, guys. Like, not to be this guy, but I'm just not really comfortable with that kind of topic. So, we're going to move on a little bit. Since I did skip over that, we'll do one more.
Straight up.
So,
if that first shot had not been fatal and the next shot had been.
Okay.
All you need to do is download buff, let it run in the background.
No ads.
Got its fair share of.
Okay.
Know how to forgive him. I, 22 female, have been with my partner,
puts slugs in bed?
male, for 4 years now.
Okay.
I have never known him to do anything like this, but I noticed he started acting a little strange around a month, maybe a month and a half ago.
Yeah, like I said, sorry guys.
He started putting fruit on the floor in the garden, and I thought it was a bit weird, but he said he was feeding the mice family that have nested in our shed, so I thought it was sweet to help him do so. Anyways, he started being really nice to me around 2 weeks ago and was making me food, making me cakes and stuff, which he never usually cooks, even so I was so happy he found a hobby. I did notice sometimes I felt sick and dizzy after eating, and I just put it down to a lack of sleep or hormones. Anyways, a friend of my partner's came into my work today. I work in a cafe, and said he needed to speak to me when I was free. I was free as there wasn't any customers at the time. He told me that my partner has been collecting slugs from the garden on fruit he has been putting out there and putting them in my food, blending them up.
Slugs?
He even sent this friend of his pictures of a bag of slugs he had collected and the picture of blended slugs. I feel really sick to my stomach. I don't understand why he would do this. This is so out of character for him.
Patar.
I asked him why he was doing it, and he accused me of snooping through his messages, which
Dude, what? You put slugs in your food, what?
For not being able to take a joke. I feel disgusting. I love him to pieces, but I just don't understand his way of thinking just
That's
now.
not a joke. That's
Am
just
I
disgusting.
I don't know what to do. I feel lost.
Bro,
Yeah,
what?
This dude wasn't just playing a prank. He was running full-blown experiments on someone he claimed to love. Like she thought she was just getting home-cooked meals. Turns out she was the experiment.
She was getting slugs.
She came back with an update, and it has gotten so much worse than anyone expected. When she first posted, People weren't sure if it was some kind of twisted joke or there was something seriously wrong with him, but after a trip to urgent care, things started coming out. Stuff no one was ready for, because apparently the slugs were just the beginning. Update. Edit. I'm receiving messages telling me to kill myself. Please don't do that, as I am highly sensitive just now. I went to urgent care last night / early hours of morning and waited and was finally seen around 6 a.m.-ish. I had some tests and I have a high level of metaldehyde in my blood. I was kept in for monitoring and I have some ulcers in my stomach. I was aware of this anyways as I was hospitalized about 2 months ago.
Did he put like metal shards or something in there?
Originally thought it was stress, but they now said it could be because of the poisoning. I could have an infection of some kind as my temperature is high, but they haven't found anything that could be causing that yet. They have checked my heart and it is fine. I'm due to have heart surgery this year though, but they're delaying it due to the ulcers and infections and the fact I kept getting sick, which is okay. I have an appointment to see my cardiologist on the 20th of April. I contacted the police and wrote a statement and was asked some questions. Anyone who knows me in real life, please don't post mine or my partner's name, as the police said it would destroy the investigation. Not the exact words they used, but I'm sure I was in a daze. My ex refused to say anything to the police or to me.
Okay, so they did break up.
He did say he would speak to his friend and only him. He then spoke to me. I was not alone. I was with a friend and his friend too. He confessed to doing random experiments on me / tests, starting a few months after we moved in together. It started with spitting on my toast, and then the week later he replaced my propranolol beta blockers with salt, empty capsules. I want to add he was my medication holder, as I have a history of suicide attempts, so he handled my meds and gave them to me. And that's when he thought it would be funny.
Why?
He also admitted to these things, swapping my Linda McCartney vegetarian sausages with real meat. I have IBS and struggle to digest meat, so I became a vegetarian. He also replaced my corn nuggets with his real ones. One of my pet giant African land snails went missing in summer, and I assumed it escaped since I left the lid open on their box, but he said it had died, so he scraped it out and put it in my curry. I vaguely remember the day he did this, as he laughed whenever I went to eat the curry, and I got really paranoid, so I put it in the kitchen and stormed off. He then brought it upstairs and told me to taste, and I did, and I realized he added loads of zeoli, and he said he was just laughing because he put chili powder in it and too much came out. Now I think he must have put the chili in it to cover the fact he put my snail in there. He also said he rubbed my toothbrush on the toilet and washed it, as he thought that was too far. I feel like this was all a
That's psychotic. That's like psychotic.
Too dramatic to feel real. I am unsure what is happening on the legal front. He says he didn't know why he did this, and that he does love me truly, and that he felt compelled to do it, which I understand, as I suffer from OCD and get compulsions / impulsions, and that he really loves taking care of me, and he feels it's his purpose, and he didn't mean to cause serious harm. He promises he never did any of this to our animals. I think
that's false. Nah, that's false. That is 100% false. That's an ad. Sorry, there's a lot of ads today.
I think he could just be stressed, as I have mental health issues that could have caused something in him to break from too much stress. I am really sad and sorry for those who I cause concern. At this point, it is clear that the user had broken up with the guy who had done these terrible things to her. However, later she posted another update, and this time, she came with proof. Just found a jar with 4 slugs in it under the sink my partner must have forgot about. I think they are dead, so they can be old ones, I feel. Physically sick. And the worst part, she didn't just say it happened. She showed it. With the post came a photo.
Sorry, I can't show you guys.
A bag full of huge, dead slugs. Just sitting there. Cold, slimy, lifeless. The kind of image that makes your stomach turn, even if you're just scrolling past it. And knowing she had been eating that those things were blended up and served to her like it was some romantic gesture, that's not just disturbing. That's straight up nightmare fuel.
That's psychotic.
People in the comments completely lost it. No one could wrap their heads around how someone could do something so cruel to the person they claimed to love. So yeah,
Right.
it was obvious. Everyone wanted justice. On top of all that, these slugs that you saw are called yellow garden slugs. They carry a number of parasites that cause meningitis and a ton of other issues. You're not even supposed to touch them with your bare hands, and she was eating them. Blended. Hidden. For weeks. OP, please update us. Tell us you dumped him and went to a doctor. I have
went to
left
doctor.
at the doctor's now. It's very busy though, so haven't been seen yet. This was real unhinged behavior. Nothing about it was rational. Every detail was more disturbing than the last. And because of how unpredictable he was, everyone started getting seriously worried. If he could do this, what else was he capable of? One very concerned user dropped a comment that said, "He promised he never did this to any of your animals, but your dog recently had lungworm, and he admitted to making you eat your pet snail.
No.
He replaced your heart medication with salt and tampered with your food, knowing that you have IBS. There is nothing funny about that. He has endangered your health and those of your pets. Stress doesn't make anyone do this. He is not safe for you or your pets. These are not the actions of someone who loves taking care of you.
Right.
They are cruelty. Please stop blaming yourself. I understand your struggles with both mental and physical health and the need for someone to love and care for you, but if you value your life and those of the animals you adopted, he can never be trusted again." Everyone agreed. This wasn't something you could just walk away from. Something had to be done. She needed justice, but more than that, she needed to be safe. Because none of it made sense. Why would someone go this far?
Right. Why would someone do that at all?
And that's when, somewhere deep in the thread, OP left this one chilling comment. "Hi, he was diagnosed with ASPD, antisocial personality disorder, yesterday and admitted everything to me and how I was his way of looking normal to the outside world. He manipulated me by giving me everything I wanted as a BPD sufferer, love, affection, compliments. He began testing me emotionally at first with cheating to see how I would react, but I forgave him and then began with food and stuff to see how long until I got sick. I'm still baffled. The person I knew, I never really knew at all. He is a psychopath, and he gives ASPD sufferers a bad name. He knew I was vulnerable due to my mental and physical illnesses. He became my carer, but was torturing me at the same time, and I was unaware of any of this."
That's disgusting. That is disgusting. I'm sorry. Like, that's disgusting.
And then put me into a new one. That's how he works. This was the moment of closure. He had confessed, finally admitted to every twisted, filthy thing he'd done. There wasn't any official update on legal action, but for a lot of people, just hearing her say it out loud was closure enough. But healing, that's a whole different thing. Because the next post she made, it caught everyone off guard. It was clear. She wasn't over the trauma. Not even close. "I'm struggling to eat / fear of food / no appetite.
Oh no.
I recently left a weird relationship where my partner was contaminating my food, etc. Anyways, ever since I have struggled to eat, I moved into a ground floor flat, and sometimes I will find slugs around the house. I'm terrified of them.
I was gonna
I
say.
keep throwing food away because
I thought she was gonna eat them or something. I don't know why. I got
I'm
scared.
getting sick. I can't cope or breathe right now.
Oh.
I have tried everything to stop slugs getting in. Copper tape, salt, non-toxic pellets, but they still somehow find their way into my flat.
Don't tell me he
I feel
brings
like
them in.
nature's tormenting me. Any advice, please? I've tried speaking to my doctor, but they won't really listen. And the doctor I see said it was a good thing, as I was overweight anyways. I was just discharged from the mental health team I was currently on. So after this, for a while, there weren't really any updates from her. People were worried sick.
Poor girl.
Some even thought she didn't survive the sickness, but she did. She came back with one final update.
Oh no.
I'm alive.
Oh no.
Hello, everyone.
Oh, and an ad.
When it came time to take things to the next level, I knew that I had to make a website, and Wix was.
I had to make a website for my drumming.
Hello, everyone. Sorry for those who I didn't get to message back. My messages have been so full. I'm alive, but have been sick with coronavirus. Thank you to those who reached out to me. You all made me feel a little less alone.
I'm not
Hope
doing this
everyone is
challenge.
well. The last post on her account was made 2 months ago, and since the incident was 5 years ago, she's been doing a lot better. Healing takes time, but she definitely got there.
I thought it was gonna be like the
Bonky
guy.
_ Dong. This story's about 2 childhood friends.
Yeah, no, we're not gonna continue now. I thought in the very end, the guy was going to, like, he ended up like putting stuff like in her house, like the slugs. Dude, I had no idea. That was an interesting story too. Like that was like, I don't know what to do with this, but yeah, that was intense. But wow, that poor girl though. Like I don't even know what to say to her. Like I'm thank God that she got like she's better now. You know what I mean? I thought in the end it was gonna leave like with a bad ending, but I mean coronavirus is kind of the worst of her concerns at that point, especially after all of that. That's scary, but wow. Well, I guess I won't go around any slugs. But alright guys, that being said, thanks to anyone who's watched, and let me know down in the comments like what kind of video I should do next, or like did you like the live stream, you know, anything like that. And yeah, I hope you guys liked the video, and yeah, I'll see you guys around, except I'm gonna end the stream.